Okay, all right. Let's move to Malcolm X for a moment. Two questions there. Let's take the first one, which is the easy one. How did you prepare for his eulogy, and why do you think, of all people, you were selected?
Oh, I know why I was selected.
Okay.
When Malcolm was killed on Sunday, it was at the end of a very tense time in the Harlem community. And those of us who knew Malcolm and loved him had watched as he was being chased and brought to bay, and Ruby's brother, who was still an adherent of Malcolm, told us stories of how the Muslims, the black Muslims, had made Malcolm a target and they were out to get him. When they killed Malcolm, the feeling in the community was that they had indeed gotten Malcolm, a man that we loved. So on Tuesday night, there was a firebombing at Mosque number 7, which I assume was the retaliation of those who loved Malcolm against those we thought who hated Malcolm. At the same time, there was in Chicago I think the black Muslims were having a convention, and speeches from there, roiled the atmosphere. It was so explosive that the police department every morning sent a busload of riot police to Harlem in riot gear. And so as I went into the Harlem community, as several of us did day by day to see what we could do, we were aware that Harlem had become an explosive possibility, almost under armed occupation. The question, how to give Malcolm a decent burial, one that expressed our appreciation of him, and also one that expressed our maturity as a people. Could we have a funeral that was a funeral and that was respectful, that didn't end in bloodshed on the very scene itself? Percy Sutton, Malcolm's attorney, had gone to most of the churches in the community, trying to get them to open their doors so that we could funeralize Malcolm somewhere. Most of the churches said no. The big community churches said no. And they explained very simply, not that we don't love Malcolm. As a matter of fact, our love of Malcolm is a part of it. We feel if we open our churches to a funeral and have Malcolm's body here, those who hate him will come in and bomb or destroy. Or it's too tense. It's too fraught with danger for us to have Malcolm's funeral in our churches. Percy finally found a small church on Amsterdam Avenue where the bishop would allow us to funeralize Malcolm. It wasn't the largest place in town, but it was large enough for us to hold the funeral. Well, then, what kind of funeral service should we have? Obviously, we should have a service that stressed the dignity and respect, that was not political, did not exacerbate the antagonistic feelings roiling around in the community, but that was peaceful, and if we couldn't bring healing, at least out of respect, we could keep things orderly and calm. So it was then thought that two people certain in the community who could help conduct the funeral service in a dispassionate and calm way would be Ruby D. and Ossie Davis. They were respected by both sides, even in the struggle over Malcolm, and they could bring the sort of dignity and stature to the services that the community, people in the community felt would be helpful and healing rather than explosive. So Percy called and said that Mr. Bishop Ayers and others in the community felt that Ruby and I, as sort of the master of ceremonies at the funeral, would be tremendously helpful to see that things went off in an orderly and respectful manner. Put to me in that light, how could I say no?
No, of course.
And so Ruby and I agreed that we owed it to the community first and to Malcolm second to be there, to do our best to see that the lid was kept on and that things proceeded in an orderly and respectful fashion. So on that Saturday morning, when the time came, we went to Harlem, parked the car, went into the services, and at that time, a part of my responsibility was to give the eulogy, which I did. I thought, after talking it over with Ruby, that I would emphasize those things about him that appeal to all, and not to that which was divisive or ideological or strained or whatever. I tried to use some words to that effect, and I have a feeling that I succeeded.
I think you did.
At least we were a part of the thing that, kept the lid on in our community.
Yes.